Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you've never been here before. Today I want to share some of my favorite quotes. So I need to preface this video by saying that I am a glutton for a good quote, so I cannot possibly go over all of them in this particular video. It'll probably become a series on my channel, but I do want to give you some. So I want to run down what the book is about, give you the quotes, and unpack why I love them so much. I'll also say that for some of these, I actually like the quote more than the book. So let's just get into it. I'm going to be referring to my Kindle so I can pull these up quickly for you. The first book that I have on here that made me want to do this video is American Queen by Sierra Simone. Oh, this is the first in her New Camelot series. It's a trilogy and it does end in a cliffhanger. It also follows Greer. She's the granddaughter of a former vice president. She has political prowess, but she's struggling with navigating her feelings that she's been harboring since 15 for Ash, the now president of the United States, and her yearn for Embry, his vice president, who seems to have more than a political allegiance to Ash. And in this book, she discovers that she might be able to claim them both. It is a menage. And I just love how she's getting clear about what she wants. So I want to share the quote that gave me a visceral reaction. I want to feel like my veins are being sliced open by the sheer desire of someone powerful. I want to be handled and cherished and used and worshipped. I want a man or a woman to claim me as their equal partner in every way until we're alone. Then I want to crawl to them. Are you kidding me? I just love the all-consuming desperation to have every synapse commanded. Greer is a character that is dying to feel immensely. She wants to be consumed. She wants to be needed in a palpable way. And not just by anyone, by someone of great power, because it makes the praise of their worship all the more gratifying. And I understand the yearn to crawl to that kind of lap. Okay. Sticking in the land of menages, my next quote is from Breaking Perfect by Lydia Michaels. This follows Liberty. She has debilitating OCD due to immense trauma, and she's married her former psychologist. He is a doting husband, and as a couple, they've created these elaborate routines to accommodate her illness and to foster open communication. And we meet her when she's craving more. I remember feeling like she was starving, and she's harboring great guilt for that because her husband is understanding, supportive, and is just simply gone for her. But to make a long story short, Sean, her husband's ex-lover, drops in unannounced and shakes up their routines and introduces an element that they weren't expecting and needed. I will say that there is cheating in this book. Despite how her husband would couch it, their communication really isn't all that strong because he does give Liberty the license to explore with Sean without disclosing that he too is doing the same. So I want you to be aware of that. But the quote that I have from this book showcases what I'm personally looking for when I'm reading a menage. So let's get into that. 3 separate people, neither one perfect, each a little broken, melded so tightly together, they had eventually become one. I need to know and be convinced that each part of the whole within a menage is inextricably linked. I do not enjoy MFMs. I don't want to read about separate relationships and heroes that aren't receiving all of the heroine and heroines that aren't being laid utterly bare in vulnerability and in the process of giving all of themselves and getting that in return. I want to feel like each element, each person is fulfilling a need within the other. And I just enjoy having them get lost in the hole because they're one. And this quote was the first time that sort of like articulated what I was looking for. And I think it sums it up perfectly. So I had to include it. The next quote that I have is from Pam Godwin's Deliver series, and it's from Take. This is Tiago's book. And I will say that monikers like villain and anti-hero fail to describe him, okay? But this is a captor-captive romance with a psychotic menace who's an artist. He uses his blade as a brush and Kate's skin as a canvas. And after all that he has done up until this point to characters that I fell in love with, Pam allows me to see the man that Kate sees past the terror with this quote. You want to know if I'm a sadist? It was a query he didn't mind examining. I suppose the label fits. Delivering pain is an expression of art. It's inspiring, inherently satisfying, but only when the hurt has meaning, when it serves a purpose beyond cruelty. You know, Tiago's insane machinations may be perceived as cruel, but there's rhyme and reason to it because he wouldn't be moved otherwise. And that's something that I can follow and be challenged by. I went into this book thinking that the fact that he finds beauty in bloodshed, I thought that that was like exemplar of his cruelty. But I began to see that he sees bloodshed as an offering. And in that way, I can see the intimacy of it. I can see the care and how he measures pain and how he interprets the way in which Kate endures it. Like, every scar and every wound is worshipped and revered. And I just felt like this quote in this romance showcased depths that I didn't think Tiago was capable of. And I love being proved wrong by an author. I will say that this is book 5 in the series, and I do not recommend reading them out of order. It is very dark and is all about human sex trafficking survivors going back into captivity to help those that are like themselves. And they take down traffickers that the government doesn't have access to. So it's very dark, but it's also very beautiful. And this one scared me at first, and I came out a believer. So I highly recommend it if you like dark romance. The next quote that I have, is from Flow by Kennedy Ryan. This is the novella and the first in her Grip trilogy. This covers Bristol and Grip's meet cute and the way that Kennedy Ryan captures the magic of a moment. I will just read it. We know each other, not in terms of hours or days, but something deeper, something more elemental. I can't deny it, but I have no idea what to do with it. This meet cute is faded. It has this like ease and comfort because they cover the ground of years in mere hours through heartfelt conversation. And I love the conundrum of this quote because we witness them get to experience arguably one of the most coveted things of existence, which is a soul connection. And like she grounds it by making it relatable in that I don't know what to do with this. I just love that. I think it telegraphs where we're going after this, and it makes evident that she just writes characters that feel so real. If you have not read this trilogy, you have to. Be prepared for emotional edging and an emotional massacre, but I cannot begin to describe the beautiful, hard-won romance that they have. It's absolutely stunning, and it's a must-read. The next quote that I have is from a series that I have many favorite quotes from that make me yell the name of the author. Oh, excuse me. Drop my Kindle. I mean, I don't even think I can like put all of these in my hand, but like the entire series looks like this. So I'm just gonna pick one. And that one is The Hunter by Kerrigan Byrne. Christopher Argent is a lethal assassin. He is the danger that he could not be when he was a child during his gut-wrenching prologue. He is a man of self-mastery of everything but his heart. And when his next target is the famous Millie LaCour, it's the first mark that he doesn't hit. And the quote that I want to go over, I don't know, I mean, there's so many. I think I want to go over the quote where I believed his desire and his duty eclipses. So let's find that. Certainly he could kill her, but her light would remain in the glow of the lamps on every stage she'd ever graced, on the smile of her son, secure knowledge in her love. It would live on in the many portraits and photos of her. Millie LaCour was immortal, and for the first time in his wretched life, she was going to belong to him. Oh, I love that she notes how the ripple effect of Millie's life will never be eradicated and how awestruck he is of her. It feels like a slow-mo moment that grounds him, where he experiences a feeling and a desire he can't control. This man who was lassoed in every part of himself in order to survive is completely undone, and I absolutely love it. I love a lot of the books from this series, most of them. I mean, I've tabbed it up. And Kerrigan Byrne just has a way of writing dense and succinctly for me. I love her. The next in my list that I'm going to get from the floor. Okay, the next on my list is from Stolen Air by Sophie Lark. This is a mafia captive Beauty and the Beast retelling, where we're following Nikolai, who sees himself as a husk of a man because of the parts of himself that he had to kill in order to survive. And in this book, he's trying to claim Chicago. And in order to do so, he wants to kidnap Nessa. She is an Irish mob princess who is beloved and innocent. And he knows if he kidnaps her, she will be missed, which will lead to emotional mistakes when they're trying to avenge her and protect their territory. I mean, this is the edge that he needs while he's systematically aiming to take them down. However, he is the one that slowly spirals when he realizes that Nessa isn't who he thought she was. There is a moment in here where Nessa likens their love to spider silk. And I'm just gonna read it. I'm just gonna read it before we break it down. It took me out because I'm a bit of a geek. She says, every time Nikolai speaks to me, every time he even looks at me, he's throwing a tiny thread of spider silk around me. Each one is so thin and light, I don't notice them. When we dance together, when he kisses me, when he even looks my way. Spider silk is a natural material, similar to the way in which they organically fall for each other despite themselves. Spider silk is also stronger than steel, and its appearance is unassuming, which is so fitting for them because they both have perceptions that are inaccurate. You know, Mikolai sees Nessa as weak because she's innocent, because she's sheltered. And he finds that very unattractive in the beginning. And yet, Nessa's kindness animates everything around her. And she's also like keenly perceptive, which allows her to see and seek the man that he aimed to kill in order to survive. And this romance is just so freaking beautiful. I love how Sophie has a way of creating these like pregnant moments of meaning that force her characters to recognize that they are experiencing love. It's so freaking good. I absolutely loved it. The next on my list is from Unhinged by Onley James. They're up there, but I'm just gonna throw it up like many on this list. This book introduces how their father's research led to him forming a family of psychopaths that were raised to kill on behalf of justice. In this book, we're following Adam and Noah, and Adam's first kill's son, Noah, goes after him to avenge the death of his father. And what Noah ends up finding out is who his father was, the sad reality of his childhood, and he also garners Adam's all-consuming focus. And the way that Adam wants to keep, take care of, and consume Noah is the most sensual and sweetest thing, positioned within some very dark and heavy themes. Oh, I loved them. And I love when Adam says this. Come on, Kindle, search. Honestly, if I said half the things I think when I look at you, you'd run screaming into the night. Like I want to stitch my body to yours. Like I want to live inside your skin. Like I would handcuff you to the radiator if you tried to leave me. Oh, this just screams, you're mine, you've claimed me, and I will blot out everything else in your life until there's only me, so that you fill this all-consuming hole that's claimed me. At least that's how my mind sees it. And I'm absolutely obsessed with them. It's so freaking good. I love them. The last quote on this list is from Her Soul's Revenge by Harley LaRoe. This is the second book in her series, and I think it outshines the first. I mean, I was down for Leon, but Zane is zaddy, okay? Like, I just love him. Zane is a demon who is determined to claim Juniper's soul because she's not only a cult sacrifice survivor, she's a little stabby, she's angry, and she wants vengeance. And her soul is one that he will have to earn, which is a game that he loves to play. And so he stalks and taunts her with his bargain for her soul. And their argumentative foreplay leads to their romance. And I love when he says this. I wanted all of it, all her messiness, all her sharp edges and fragmented pieces. I wanted the sharpness. I wanted to cut myself on it again and again. I wanted to move her pieces around until they all made sense. Anytime a hero sees the heroine, I'm moved. But all the more here because Zane loves her mess and her sharp edges because the masochist in him just wants to be cut by her vitriol. I love how rage and anger and hate are transmuted to fuel their romance. What they find is absolutely beautiful, and I recommend you pick it up if you've only read the first. I actually had a lot of fun with this. Like, I think I'm going to officially make this a series on my channel so I can go through all of the quotes that I absolutely love. I want to thank you for joining me today. I want to ask that you consider subscribing, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.